Hello, British literature students. Welcome back to part two. I promised you a part two of our Hamlet student workbooks, our virtual or online digital workbooks. And last time we met, we put our names on the cover of our books. And we talked about this, and we looked at the content page, and we filled out this page. So if you didn't do any of this yet, you're a little bit behind. You should probably go back to part one of my tutorials. Now we are on slide 5. I feel like I should give a shout out and give some credit to Stacy Lloyd. She is who I purchased these this student digital notebook from. I purchased it from her on Teachers Pay Teachers. I've actually bought a few of her things. She is one talented lady, let me tell you. All right, so after a shout out to her, quick commercial for you there, Miss Lloyd. So I also mentioned in my last tutorial that if this is too small for you to work in, which I would imagine it is for just about anyone, you can go up to View, Zoom, and then do however you want to, look at this. I'm going to go as far as 200 today because my eyes are old. I have taught for a long time and have always been a voracious reader, and so my eyes are really, they need some magnification these days. Okay. I keep going to the next slide. All right. The top is getting to grips with Shakespeare's language. While the play is written in English, yes, it is. It is not Old English either. It is not even Middle English. It is the closest thing that we've read so far to modern English. It might not look modern to us, but Shakespeare's language is still considered modern English. So it is an older version of modern English. So there are going to be words that you're unfamiliar with. That's okay. We'll work through these. And there are some here on this guide to get us started so that we can start reading the play and be aware of some of these kind of old-fashioned words. So as in modern English, words in Shakespeare, I'm on the right side here, words in Shakespeare's work often appear in a reduced or contracted form with the omitted or left out letters indicated with an apostrophe. And you don't need to pronounce the missing letters. It is done this way so that the syllables fit in proper form, which in this case is going to be iambic pentameter. You learned about iambic pentameter in our sonnets unit. 10 syllables to a line. Every other syllable is stressed, so 5 unstressed syllables, 5 stressed syllables, and we start with the second syllable being stressed. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? And we aren't quite that obvious about it when we read it, but it does sound like that, and it's that heartbeat rhythm, right? So that's why these contractions are used. Also, the words that ended with ed in Shakespeare's time were often a separate syllable. So beloved would be beloved. And oh my gosh, now of course I'm going blank with examples, but you will see plenty of them in this play. And it's supposed to fit that iambic pentameter. The whole play isn't in iambic pentameter, but there are parts of it which are. All right, so you on this page are supposed to go through and just read what the Elizabethan term was and then what the modern version is of that. And you will use that, it's kind of like cracking a code. You're going to use that key to translate the following sentences into Elizabethan English. Before we get to that, I do want to, this is review for us because I talked about this in our sonnets unit. I did this on Monday, November 14th. We talked about thou, thee, thine, thy. Simply put, thee and thou mean you. Thou is used when it's the subject of the sentence, the doer of the verb. Thee is used when it's the object of the sentence, the receiver of the verb. I love you. You are the object of my affection. So an example, thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio. Horatio is a character in Hamlet. By heaven, I charge thee, speak. You are a scholar. You art a scholar. You are a scholar. By heaven, I charge you to speak. Thine and thy, simply put, thine means yours, thy means your. Think about how you use your or yours as possessive adjectives. You own something, right? Whose scarf? Your scarf. Is that yours? Yes. It's describing the possession before a noun and possessive pronouns used as an object in a sentence. Here are some examples. Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. Don't let your mother lose her prayers. This above all, to thine own self be true. To your own self be true. You've probably actually heard that before and maybe didn't even know that it was Shakespeare. All right, so you are going to get some practice with this. I hope you have fun with this. I had fun with it. You're supposed to translate each of the following sentences. Don't forget to use your key. Your key is above here, all of these words, right? I've had students turn this in the past, and it's like they never looked at this key. I don't know if they just guessed or what they did. Curse you, boy. Why are you my enemy? You are going to take that and you're going to go up here and find the word curse. So plague, you're going to say plague. Are we going to say you though? No, we're not. We're going to say thou or thee. Plague thee. Is boy up here? I don't see boy up here. Okay, so I guess you're just going to say boy. Oh no, here it is. Sirrah, boy, sirrah. So make sure that if it's, you got to check and see if it's in your key first. Why are you my enemy? Is why up here? Yes. Wherefore are, I think I already said is art, right? Why art thou mine foe? So hopefully you get this. It's going to take you a minute. Take some time. Enjoy what you're doing while you're learning, right? All right, we're at about the 7-minute mark. I want to discuss that I have a rubric for slides 1 through 5. I'm going to make sure that you have completed what you were supposed to complete on slides 1 through 5. So on slide 1, you have entered your first and last name. That will earn you a full point. If you just put one name or you don't capitalize, I didn't put that on here. I should have. Oh, maybe I will right now. Proper capitalization. Look at how I can just change that on the spot. On slide 4, you have circled a few words you use under the word Shakespeare invented. You show critical thinking in your answer about why we might still study Shakespeare today. You're going to get your best points if you use excellent critical thinking and use your own words, and you give 3 possible reasons. You get 2 or 1 point if you put some thought into it, but you didn't give 3 reasons. Remember, the minimum requirement was 1 reason. You gave a thorough and insightful answer about what you hope to achieve by studying the play, right? You put some effort and thought into it. You're going to get some points for that. And did you succeed in rewriting all 3 sentences? You clearly followed the directions. You used the guide correctly. You used the key. Or did you make a good attempt? You'll get some points for that too. So I just wanted you to be aware of that rubric for slides 1 through 5. All right, now we're moving into some more stuff. Thinking about key topics. This play deals with interesting, deeper concepts. Spend time on your own or with a partner if you want to. You could even do this with, your friend at home or your sister or brother or mom or dad. Discuss the following statements. Do you agree or disagree? For each one, explain your thinking. So here's the first one. Revenge is never justified. You're going to say whether you strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. Try to pick a stance, right? Like, try not to be wishy-washy on this or, oh, it depends. Of course it depends, right? We know that by now. Don't bore us with that. Pick a stance and then go with it, right? So revenge is never justified. And then you click and drag this over to where you want it to see. I believe that revenge sometimes is justified. So I disagree, or I might even strongly disagree with this. What if something really bad happened to one of my family members, some kind of criminal act? I might have a very strong feeling about revenge. So just do whichever one applies to you, but you have to explain your answer, right? My cousin, actually, this is kind of true, but not kind of true. It is true. A former teacher in Beaver Dam, where I live, a former teacher was plowed down in the Waukesha Christmas parade. Um, and yeah, do I feel like I might want revenge on that? You bet. I don't know in what way they're saying revenge is, but in my definition of what revenge is, yeah, I can see wanting revenge. So I would probably disagree with revenge is never just justified. Like I said, it kind of depends on your definition of revenge, but don't use depends. That's boring. It is possible to grieve for too long. Tell me what you think about that. Sometimes one has to be cruel to be kind. There's actually a song called Cruel to be Kind. One should always defend one's honor. I mean, these are a lot of times going to come from your path in life, like what have you experienced so far in life? So if you're doing this, say, with your mom and dad, this sometimes one has to be cruel to be kind. You might say, no, I disagree with that. But your parents might say, hold on, we as your parents have had to be cruel sometimes when we know it's actually a parenting trait and it's actually in the big picture very kind. So it probably didn't feel kind to you that we didn't let you go to the dance or we didn't let you go to that home party. However, we are protecting you and we were keeping you out of harm's way or something like that, right? So remember to use complete sentences and capitalization. All of that counts, right? Because you're in English class. Do your very, very best on this. Take pride in your work. All right, I think you get what that's all about. And we are already at 12 minutes. All right, so slide 8 is free write your answers in the following essential questions. There are no right or wrong responses, and you shouldn't have to do any research or preparation. These are your own initial thoughts. Please, I cannot stress enough, I do not want you to Google these. That just has no fun for me as a teacher. Let me have some fun things and hear from you in your own words. Don't try to fancy it up or anything. Just speak to me and type as if we were having just a casual conversation. Of course, I want you to speak in complete sentences and use, proper grammar, but don't fussy up like the words. Don't make anything sound like particularly poetic or anything. So to what extent can revenge bring about fulfillment and satisfaction? So I'm just going to keep using my example that I used on the last slide. I want revenge in the way that I want the perpetrator of the crime to pay for their crime in some way, right? For the most part, I guess a fair way. The person's still a human being, but I believe that this person should serve their life out in jail for prison for having done this heinous crime. So to me, that would bring about fulfillment and satisfaction. Now, does it bring back those people? No. And that's what I'm going to explain in this box, right? I realize it doesn't bring back my teacher friend, but at least I can feel satisfied in knowing he's not going to hurt other people. He is going to be somewhere where he's going to have plenty of time to think about it. Will he? I guess that's out of my hands, right? So only to a certain extent, and then I'd go on to explain my example there. Examples are great because they kind of show me where you're coming from. Is it better to be a person of deeds and action or words and thought? Why? If you don't know what deeds are, please look it up. Did you do your deeds? Did you do your duties? Did you do your, work that you're supposed to do? Is it better to be a person of deeds and action or words and thought? You might have heard this said in the past as he's all talk, no action, right? Or words are just words. Words can be empty. Show me. that you're sorry or something like that. So